welcome. Bye.
In Collingswood, Halloween is one of the biggest celebrations we have all year, with children from all over the community parading up and down for hours because we could not do that. Today, they are the parade. The borough staff members came up with an idea to be able to do a drive-by so that people could safely drive through and have the police and fire give them a treat for that day for young children and families.
That's the best costume yet.
For me, it's super important for us to have that face-to-face communication so you can see who I am as a person.
Here you are, sweetheart.
We've been removed from that face-to-face community policing for a little bit, somewhat because of the pandemic, so we're so excited to be able to do this today. Wouldn't ask for any other way. I grew up here, able to give back to the community. It's awesome.
We're glad you're here.
You know, this is the beginning of the holidays. It's still going to be a great holiday season. It'll be ones where you're really going to, I think, get to enjoy your family and your neighborhood a lot more than you usually do.
Happy Halloween.
Thank you. We're not really going house to house, so we just got together with friends and family here at the park. We're just going to make the best of it. Driving through, picking up candy, and keep it going.
We just tell them that basically we don't want them to get sick and keep them healthy.
It's been rough, but right now we're, just little by little getting out and we're seeing the kids, flourish.
We got 1, 2.
It's a walkable, friendly, family type of community where people get to really know each other, and I think that it's really helped to have that kind of a small town atmosphere during these difficult times.
Happy Halloween!
Face-to-face communication so you can see who I am as a person. Huh. That's what Chief Carney says. What is that? Some kind of a sick joke? Hey guys, what up? Total Control 871. How's everybody's election eve coming along? Yes, we saw their Collingswood Police Department here in New Jersey handing out candy and treats because it's unsafe to do this door to door, supposedly. And what makes it safe? That instead of walking up to a door and getting the treat, somehow unsafe, but it is now safe to be handed the treat through a window. Again, from people who are not inside of your family. It is massive plot holes like this that inspire corporate media to call people like me conspiracy theorists, delusional, out of contact with reality, and a myriad of other pejoratives. I see. I'm just completely baffled as to why traditional trick-or-treating is dangerous. But getting your treats from first responders, not dangerous. Okay? And to be clear here, I think what Collingswood Police Department and the fire departments and the first responder ambulance, the paramedics, I think what they're doing for the kids, I think it's wonderful. Unfortunately, it's just too bad that it has to come at a psychological, detrimental cost. That psychological, detrimental cost, of course, is you cannot trust your fellow neighbor. You can only come to us, government officials. We're the ones to tell you when it's safe and when it is not. When we hand out the treats, somehow it's safe. When your next door neighbor hands out the treats, somehow it's not safe. Okay. So I guess our first responders, much like our Black Lives Matter protesters and rioters, are magically immune to this so-called pandemic, but the people in your neighborhood are not immune. What if the cops live in your neighborhood? I don't know. I haven't really figured that one out. But it's just simply one of the many plot holes. Yeah, so I just wanted to give you a little heads up as to what's going on, how Halloween went. And of course, if you vote for Joe Biden, not only will it be Halloween destroyed, every holiday will be destroyed. You will never be allowed to leave your home without a Mark of the Beast vaccine or accepting the Mark of the Beast insignia on your face. Okay, the Mark of the Beast insignia on your face. It is what the election, I think, has come down to. I've made no qualms about it. Trump is a pig. He's greedy. He's selfish. In it for himself. I voted for Trump, and what does that vote mean? Yeah, I guess it does mean 4 years or 4 more years of Trump angling to get rich off the presidency and a bunch of other stuff. Compared to the massive loss of civil rights, yeah, I can live with that. I can live with Trump raping the system rather than have my civil rights raped. So, yeah, that's why I voted for Trump. Believe me, I held my nose doing it. Every fucking bubble that I filled in, it caused me pain, but it will cause you much more pain once you've lost your civil rights and your ability to move about freely. If I'm not mistaken, there was a story in the news. Police dispatched to crack down on traditional trick-or-treaters. So there was no rioting among these trick-or-treaters. It was just simply people going out, doing their things like normal, and police were called to disperse this. But, Chief Carney, he and his magic powers are somehow enabled to hand out these treats without threat to human life. I see. Let's take a little closer look as to how we think, how we perceive, and our critical thinking and deductive reasoning skills.
Next up is the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect seems to be having a moment, and mainly that's because it seems like the world is running off of it right now. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias wherein people who have very limited knowledge or competence in a topic really overestimate their own knowledge or competence in that topic. It's named after the psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger. Basically, the less informed you are about something, the less you know about how much there is to know on something. So you tend to think that you know more about it than you actually do.
This is Joe. His channel is called Answers with Joe. I'll link him down below. The Dunning-Kruger effect. He goes to talk about actually several different psychological phenomenon regarding cognitive thinking in this particular episode. I highly encourage you to watch the episode in its entirety. Now, if I were a gambling man, I would probably say that Joe supports the pandemic, I guess. Although, if you were to watch his segment in its entirety, you could quite easily see how either side of the argument could use it as weaponry against the other. There was a segment here that he goes on to talk about, let's see, toward the end. What is it called? Yes, there it is. The sunk cost fallacy. This is when you continue doing something just because we've invested time, effort, or money into it, even though it no longer benefits us. Down in Joe's comment section, I wrote sunk cost fallacy =, flu vaccine. I very much indeed have said, has said this before. Flu vaccines, all these repetitive immunizations, immunization in air quotes, they have to constantly be redone. Of course, your big pharma has cooked up its explanation. Oh, it mutates, it changes. It's like late night infomercials pushing supplements. And the irony is that the FDA cracks down pretty hard on those supplements. You are purchasing something that claims to be able to do something. Did it do it? We have a flu vaccine already. Does it work? No, I'm afraid not. And of course, they're already cooking up their excuses. Should anybody be fool enough to take a COVID vaccine, why positive cases keep emerging, Of course, you never know. Maybe they'll start cycling down the PCR to its normal standard of about 20 cycles rather than 40 or 50 that they're doing now to elicit the false positives. Who's to say what they're going to do? They are creating their own reality, their own version of reality. Like I say, Joe here in this segment, he talks about quite a bit of different ways of how we perceive the reality around us, how we make excuses, how we shut out things we don't want to hear and eagerly embrace things that we want to hear. I mentioned to you about J.P. Sears. I think I linked him up there. I think he did a little video blurb. I think it looked like it was from a transportation center talking about... No, excuse me. That's right. I'm trying to keep it all straight. In one of his video segments, his comedic video segments, where he points out that on the packaging of the PCR COVID test, that it says on the writing that this is not to be used to diagnose COVID-19. Now, I tender that information appropriately. How did I come across this information is the first thing I would ask myself. I came across that information from a comical skit. It doesn't make a difference that it's coming from a person who seems to be on the same wavelength as me. See, people, this is what I'm talking about when I say I am moving. In my selfie circle, it's hard to... I am moving in a straight line. I cannot speak for other people who might be deviating, okay? The first thing I ask myself is, where did I get this information? I got this information from a comical skit about the COVID-19 test having the words, having the literature written on it saying that it cannot diagnose COVID-19. Have I ever seen the packaging for such a... Have I ever seen a COVID-19 packaging? No, I have not. So I cannot say that for absolutely sure that that's what it said. Far as I know, JP may have just simply been saying that as part of his comical skit. It might be true, it might not be true. This is how my brain cannot be hacked. The same scrutiny and demands for proof that I bring against the fake pandemic, I also bring to people who would be fellow wavelength, people who are on the same wavelength as me, or appear to be. Just because you're telling me something that tickles my ear, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to incorporate that into my main programming. It will be held in a holding cell until it can be proved or disproved. See, people? Critical thinking skills. So many of you don't do it anymore. You just don't do it anymore. It's become too hard. I don't want to. So many on all sides of the argument have become so lazy. Everything has to be pre-packaged with you. What to believe. You don't even think for yourself anymore. You just basically leave it up to the political party that you're currently allied with. You know, everything said good about Trump. Yeah, I guess I'll believe it because I'm a Republican. Everything said good about Biden. Yeah, I'll believe it because I'm a Democrat. You know, and vice versa. If it's bad about the person that I'm against, then, you know, people are not thinking for themselves. And every single time you hear about privacy watches, or how about that whole Cambridge Analytica thing, you see everybody fixated on the fact that you were flooded with a bunch of propaganda. But nobody stops to think about what's done with that information. Why has the fake pandemic been launched now as opposed to later or sooner? They are watching you. All of Silicon Valley. Every single time you write down in the comments section, I got nothing to be ashamed of or hide. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Well, good for you. But what you don't understand, my dear law-abiding citizen, is that these people aren't necessarily looking for nefarious or illegal behavior. They're looking to learn how to control you, how to control your mind. If I'm not mistaken, it's part of the questionnaires for determining if a person is lucid, crazy, to use the pejorative. The shrinks don't say crazy, but you know what I'm saying. One of the many questions that they'll ask you is, do you think people are trying to control your mind? You know what? They might as well as remove that question from the questionnaire, okay? Everybody knows that there is a heated battle in Silicon Valley to learn how to control, manipulate, Inception, if you were able to follow along the movie, to give you ideas and to control your mind and control your thinking and making you think that it was all your idea to begin with. Serious, advanced psychological manipulation, psychological warfare. They're watching you and they are learning how to control you. Okay? It's coming, and it's coming now. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. Yes, the second COVID wave. Oh, I see. You can read this if you want. I really don't care. What I'm actually drawing your attention to. Has anybody noticed that our boy, Phil, he's gone into hiding? How many of you actually bought and believed that story that he is sequestered away because he was exposed to people who tested positive? And all of this happening just as the election is happening, huh? The fucking coward knows that all hell is about to break loose in his state that is, let's just say it, Jersey is a red state that masquerades as a blue state, okay? The only reason why Jersey is so-called blue is because it's heavy in unions, okay? And the whole landscape of the American Union, I could do a whole video on that. The point that I'm making here is that Governor Murphy, he's in hiding right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they're hiding intel where maybe there have been abduction plots made against him. You never really know. But yes, no, he's not sequestered for COVID. No. He knows that he wants to be well hidden away while the count is being conducted. He knows damn well the nefarious things that he has done to highly skewer this election. He took away secure voting machines. I don't know if any of you understand that or not. Do you understand that? I had some comments in the comment section saying, "You voted by mail." I had to. Governor Murphy violated everybody's constitutional rights and took away secure voting machines. Do you understand? Here in the state of New Jersey. Okay? You could take your ballot to a polling place in person. You can do that. Okay? It's still a piece of paper. And if you were to go there without your mail-in ballot to get what's called a provisional ballot. Provisional ballots are limbo ballots. Do you understand? When you fill one out, it is placed in limbo because they want to know if you mailed in a ballot, making sure that you didn't vote twice. Or of the micro few voting machines that were in service, if you voted on one of those. Okay? So under the color and guise of secure, fair elections, you're going to have an avalanche, a mountain of stockpiled, warehoused paper ballots. Now, do you understand why these accidents happen? Oh my. We found uncounted ballots, crates of them. Nobody was trying to cheat. It was just an accident. An accident. Okay. And remember, the so-called pandemic is so dangerous that you can't go and vote on a secure machine, but you can go to the slot machines. You can touch those motherfucking buttons. Doodle-a-doodle-doo, ding. You know, did anybody stop and think, because I talked about the whole guy at the Vegas slot machine and whatnot, you know what the real kick in the teeth is over the whole casinos being allowed to open? Because some of you might not have ever worked in a casino. Casino Control Commission, state employees, they are there on the premises by law 24 hours a day. There could be 2 or 3 commissioners, depending on the size of the casino. On premises, they have their own office and everything. It's usually located near security. All right? And whenever any kind of money gets moved around on the casino floor, if you want to move a row of slot machines just to get behind it to clean, guess who has to be there? Security and casino commissions. The state wants to be there to make sure, because normally when we earn our money on our jobs, okay, it's trusted that taxes will be collected correctly. Oh, but baby, when it comes to the casino, oh, no, 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 my darling. The state is right there. Eyes on the money. When they take up the bill validators, the bill collectors, and all, well, they used to have they called it hard count the coins. Casinos don't really use coins anymore. Very few coins. Point is, up in the money counting rooms, casino commissions is right there, watching. Not through CCTV, they are present in the room. Why is all this? Because the state knows how important its cut of the action, its money, its revenue stream. Do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm getting at? While the state is shutting down your job, calling your job non-essential, okay, when they're plunging you into everlasting poverty, the state is finding a way, creating excuses and, oh, put up some plastic barriers, open every other slot machine. Oh, whatever it is. A bunch of silly little shit that they do. Just come up with an excuse as to why your venue is now considered safe. But small businesses, oh no. No. All of the measures that they took are not good enough. The Dallas salon owner, that woman was thrown in jail. She took precautionary measures. She tried to humor the fake pandemic. Okay? It wasn't good enough. But when it comes to the state's money and the state getting its action, oh baby, oh no. There is no such thing as cutting off the revenue stream. That money goes to fund a lot of paychecks, a lot of government paychecks. So yeah, they're going to find a way of labeling it as either safe or essential. Aha, I see. But they'll let you fall into poverty. Okay. So Murphy, after rigging the election, is now hiding in his fucking bunker, okay, surrounded by his state police, okay? Maybe there are people out there looking to blow him the fuck away. Hey, you brought it on yourself. I personally am looking into non-lethal, non-violent methods of protest. I think they were out there in UK again, swarming the streets, anti-lockdown protesters. One of the things that I would have liked to have seen them do, go into the stores, pick up merchandise that you want to buy, and then sit in. Don't leave. And that's what I would advise my American protesters to do, because I don't want to see you turn lethal and violent. Not if you don't have to, okay? Go into the stores, pick up the merchandise that you want to buy, and then sit in. You know, you're not going anywhere until you are serviced, okay? In other words, just basically the same thing they did for the civil rights. They sat at those lunch counters, and they refused to move until they were serviced. Okay? Let's see, I think I will... When I saw this report, I was really concerned about it. So basically what it's talking about is allegedly several people passed out from the heat in Florida. They said that the temperature was in the 70s with humidity above 70%. You know, people who live in Florida, they are used to that kind of environmental conditions. Just saying. I don't know. Now, maybe they very well indeed may have become overcome by the heat, or were these some sort of Biden operatives attending the rally, and of course staging a fainting spell. What I found so disturbing about it was that they ended up using water hoses from a fire truck, not sprayed directly on, but up in the air. Okay. But you know what? Water hoses and exercising your First Amendment, the imagery, it tends to bring to mind a lot of ugliness from the past. What do you think? It's down in the South. Maybe they were hot. Maybe they just needed to be cooled off. Maybe they just needed to be cooled off. What's this? Well, isn't that a therapy dog? Therapy dog just wants to come and say hi. Yes. just come and say hi. You are playing very dangerous games with your civil rights, trusting and hoping that because it is the alt-left with their progressive agenda that somehow it'll just be okay. We can trust them to not go too far, even though you can't see they've already gone too far. They made it illegal to breathe in public. You know, I keep saying in public, but correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't they keep talking about family gatherings? And so how long is it going to be before the Nazi stormtroopers come to your door, kicking it in? How many people are in this home? How many violations are in this home? But you guys just keep on thinking that it won't go that far. It won't happen like that. The Democrats are the good guys. Okay. Well, just remember, when you go to vote tomorrow, you will either be voting for never-ending lockdown or voting for a chance to pursue happiness. You know, that thing that they talk about in the Constitution. All right, so this has been your Election Eve report. Choose well. Total Control 871.